You don't always have the huge fights, but when they do, they get everybody talking.
Oh, what a shot! 3, 4, 5. It's over. It's over.
Boxing has a bit of a reputation. Not just as a dangerous sport, but one with plenty of theatrics in and out of the ring.
This will be a total annihilation.
For years, it's been tagged as a dirty business, where the ones taking all the physical risks often get the fewest rewards.
That creates a business where some people won't even work with each other. I mean, I guess it's a business decision, but it hurts the sport.
But times are changing, and the old guard is rapidly losing relevance. Out, or at least on the way out, are the days of flashy boxing promoters, and in are the days of social media-driven autonomy.
This is an opportunity where I could become bigger and have my own power, my own voice.
At just 24 years old, Ryan Garcia is already a champion, both in the sport of boxing as well as in the art of self-promotion. Ryan's rise was nothing short of meteoric. He quickly amassed a 23-0 record and became one of the most popular fighters in the ring.
We have the man of the hour, the month, the year, but we have half of it, because he has to fight the other half.
But adversity came just as quickly, with the biggest fight of his career against Gervonta Tank Davis resulting in a stunning loss amidst a sea of controversy.
I plan on moving up to 140 and doing my thing.
In the past, a result like this could have derailed a young champion's trajectory, but Ryan's following only grew stronger.
I actually became bigger after my fight, which doesn't make sense, but I did. I gained over 1.3 million followers.
It's not the first time that Ryan's public struggles have captured his audience's attention. He was one of the first fighters to open up about mental health issues.
I don't even know if I was the first one, but I was the first one publicly to say it.
Instead of hurting Ryan's case, overcoming his adversities has become a rallying cry for his following, which continues to grow and propel him to loftier heights within the sport. He shows no signs of slowing down. And if he has his way, by the time he's done, the business of boxing is never going to be the same. So I'm in Vegas. It's 116 degrees, for God's sakes, but I'm here because Ryan Garcia is here, kind of interested to see where his head's at. I mean, he was in this massively watched fight, setting all sorts of records in terms of pay-per-view for him. That's the good news. The bad news is he lost. And so you have to wonder where he goes from here, what his headspace is as he thinks about what's next.
Gervonta Tank Davis just stopped Ryan Garcia.
Take me back to that sort of immediate aftermath.
As I got out of the ring, I see my family, they were there, supporting me. Conor McGregor came into my back room. Felt like I was in a dream. It was just a whole community of people that really got behind me after the loss that I would never imagine. I thought people were waiting for me to lose. But it was like, I can't believe this kid actually lost. And I knew this fight was gonna be big, maybe 4 years ago.
The world knows when he said it, next fight, there's no going back now. There ain't no going back. Hey,
I was like, okay, we're both on the rise. I had a way stronger social media presence, but I kind of just knew he was building something else. We're gonna need each other later down the line. I just had the vision where I knew that was gonna be a successful, huge event, and it really turned the whole city up. You've never seen a fight like that in a long time. You could feel the tension in the air. You could feel the big fight happening. And I think boxing missed that for a long time. We were longing for that, and me and Gervonta, we brought it.
And they both got guts, to make this fight.
Who you leaning on?
It's a 50-50 fight, in my opinion.
Everybody, feels the tension there, arguing with each other, who's gonna win, getting mad at each other. That right there, is what I desire to bring back to the sport.
Let's get ready to rumble.
That type of atmosphere, everyone gathered around the fight, all eyes on the ring, defined Ryan's own upbringing as a born fighter who set out on this path at a very young age. People talk about, I've been waiting my whole life. You really have. You started at about this size. What are your earliest memories of fighting in boxing?
I remember I was around 7 years old. I actually remember the day that I started boxing. I was playing baseball, And I remember coming up to my uncle and I asked him, is there any sports one-on-one because I can't do this team sport? He took me to our little garage and we started hitting the mitts, and the sound of the mitt is what I fell in love with, just the, the snap.
It really becomes, even from that early age, kind of a family business. Your uncle's working with you, ultimately your dad.
They believed in me since I was little. We didn't have much at all growing up financially, but they had a belief in me and I had a belief in myself, and they put everything into me.
I love him and I want him to be a world champion.
I became a national champion around 11 years old. I think I won my first national title. And then from there, I just never stopped winning. It grew into now more serious when I got around 16, 17, like, okay, I'm really doing this now. And then I finally won a big boxing tournament that got me to the Olympic team. And I got on the USA team.
His family pegged their hopes on his future as a professional boxer, going on tour with Ryan to all his bouts and making it their full-time commitment. What did it feel like at the time, knowing that your family's fortunes were really riding on you?
My distant family would go up to my parents and tell them, like, this is 1,000,000 to 1. Like, what are you guys doing? And my mom especially, she believed in me 100%. She really just rode for me and told them to, like, no, my son's gonna be on that TV, the one that you're watching right now. He's gonna be on pay-per-view. He's gonna, become a big professional fighter.
And now we're gonna go have a gringo taco at Pinchi's Tacos.
Celebrate. Back to the gym Monday.
I think that's what kept me going. Anytime I got down, I was like, nah, my parents believe in me and they're doing all this, like, I gotta do this. And like, nobody really coached me. Like, I always felt like I would go in my room and that's where I would discover the stuff that would help me in the fights. Like, I would just be in the dark room or go on a run and I would think so much, like, how do I beat this guy? Like, what's the right strategy? And I would come up with it, and then I would go in the ring, and it would manifest in the ring.
Ready, I feel comfortable. I'm ready to go after everybody. I want everybody. Let's go. I'm turned up.
Ryan was ready to set his career alight, but for many in the world of boxing, hard work at the craft can end up being derailed. That's because, according to many, the business of boxing is fundamentally broken. Once upon a time, boxers like Oscar de la Hoya, Mike Tyson, and Muhammad Ali, Joe Louis, Ray Robinson, they were all household names. But over the years, something happened. The sport undoubtedly lost its luster in the eyes of the general public.
Boxing is dead. Boxing is dead. At the end of the day, everybody wants to be entertained.
Many point to the lack of talent drawn to the sport alongside the meteoric rise of the UFC and MMA, which today is a cornerstone of sports broadcasting. The UFC, owned by Ari Emanuel's Endeavor, has consistently leveled up its profile and distribution. The league now features prominently across ESPN, both on the linear TV network and via pay-per-view for its biggest fights, not to mention constant coverage and promotion. Others, however, put the blame for boxing's demise squarely on the business itself. There's the controversial and often criticized promoters, the alphabet soup of sanctioning organizations, and the networks vying to carry the fights. All of that's often left the fighters themselves vulnerable, physically and economically, even at the peak of their careers. The boxing business is ugly and has been for some time at this point. How did you identify that as a young person that you did need to sort of seize control?
I would just hear stories from other professional fighters where these promoters, these managers would really, pretty much screw these guys financially. And they had no say because they had no following. So you have to do whatever they say, accept whatever deal they put in front of you. And I just didn't like that whole concept of, waiting on them.
What does that actually look like when it gets down to brass tacks? Like, what are people fighting about?
They're fighting over 5%, 3%, and not letting the fight happen over that. It's like ego. That creates a business where some people won't even work with each other. Because guess what? They make the most money if they're only doing fights with their fighters. You only want to keep it in-house because you only want to keep all the money. I mean, I guess it's a business decision, but it hurts the sport.
It feels at times they're willing to sacrifice the broader popularity of the sport for one individual fight or one individual deal.
Exactly. And it's not even for the fighters, it's for themselves. I've seen people for world title fights get, what, $200,000 and get beat in the head for 12 rounds. It's because they don't got a name, they don't have following. As a boxer, you got to build your name yourself. Nobody's going to help you. It's tough. It's tough living.
Ryan's path to champion boxer is unlike his predecessors, due in part to the proliferation and his use of social media.
So we're going to punch this to see what's inside.
I missed the game. What the?
To date, Ryan has racked up more than 5.6 million followers on TikTok and 10.3 million followers on Instagram, with a total view count clocking in at more than 155 million. That many eyeballs, it's given Ryan the power to take control of his own destiny, rather than put his fate in the hands of the old model of boxing promoters.
It's hot in here. Even my camera guy's sweating. It's hot as in here.
I want to show you something. I want to show you one of your videos and just get you to react to it.
Yeah, I know this one. This is my first ever TikTok. That's awesome. I got inspired by Logan Paul. He did it, boom, 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 and I was like, man, I could do that better. And this is another one. Yeah. This is brutal. This is real too. This man threw up after. Me and my brother came up with it. I said, man, you'll be funny. Just put on the body protector and let me hit you as hard as I can. And that first one blew up. And then ever since, it just became a thing. Now, everywhere I go, they always say, can you hit me with the stomach thing? I'm like, man, I can't even say hi. I kept on blowing up on social media, then having a fight. It just kept on repeating itself. So I was blowing up on the internet, and at the same time, I got an opportunity to fight on ESPN, primetime TV. I said to myself, now imagine if I could do something amazing here. And then I ended up knocking the guy out in 30 seconds.
Oh, how quick was that?
Which then gets on SportsCenter top 10. So everything kind of went doom, 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 doom. It's like kind of like a formula I didn't create, but it just happened.
Well, you didn't create, except that you did.
Yeah,
I mean,
did, yeah.
right? I mean, in the sense that wasn't the business model before.
No, at all. Yeah. It's all just striking when the iron's hot, consistency, and performing. I would look at these things and hear the stories of other boxers and say how they were taken advantage of.
Right.
I said, well, this is an opportunity where I could become bigger and have my own power, my own voice. So they can't just, take all my money and say that, oh, I did all this for you, I got you here. This kind of gave me, into the driver's seat. I didn't want to be another story where, these promoters, these managers, they, pretty much screw you. So I was like, I need to do something that could give me some power.
Ryan invited me to his home away from home in Vegas to peer behind the curtain of his social media empire and to see how he's leveraging his fan base to inform his growth as a fighter. He's managed to tap into something that's evolved beyond self-promotion via social media, turning his following into a research platform that's directly influencing his decisions as he considers his next fight. How does this work? Like, how do you pick up your phone, you start thinking about a post? What's the process?
So if we go to one of my old posts right here, obviously it has 14 million views. But if I could,
my God.
I'm trying to see if I could go to my comments, that's where I could see who they would want me to fight. It's always been about Gervonta. And this was in 2020.
Wow.
So this was what I was talking about. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So I was getting those type of views, and then I would look at the comments and read them and see what they really wanted. I kind of already knew what they wanted, but I just kept on reconfirming it.
So you're reading you are really...
Oh, yeah.
You're reading the comments, and not just reading them, but you are strategizing based on what you're hearing from the crowd.
Exactly. I know people want to see this fight with Isaac Cruz. I always test out fights, too. Let me do a little snippet. Let me say, I'm excited. I want to make this fight happen.
Yeah.
Just to see what people would say. And it had a good response at the time. At the time, that was a lot of likes for me. So I was like, okay, people want to see this. I used to do more fun videos, things like this, or it's like Fortnite, But I kind of got away from that because it's just evolved. You know, I've grown up too, and so has my fan base. Here's one example. Me and my little brother were hitting mitts. This is what I used to do before. And it has 2 million views, which is not bad, but see, we're just kind of throwing fast punches. Pretty impressive. See, now you won't see that. You won't see that in my post. You'll see more things like, for example, like this. See, it's all technique now. We're not doing no fast things. Like, we're not doing it for the cameras. This is real life. This is real technique, real training. You know, we're here to get better. That's the main difference. You got two sides of me. Goofball, do fun videos, dancing videos. But that's part of me. I have that still in me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a kid at heart, and then you have me, I'm serious. Like, when it gets down to it, I want to be the best. And I'm competitive, I'm like hungry at all times. I don't like to lose. And obviously, you know, where I'm at now, it's more on that serious side. I'm becoming more of a man. But, you know, part of me is that kid still.
Ryan Garcia may only be 24, but boxing has forced him to grow up in other ways, including tackling the once taboo topic of mental health. In the past, make-or-break losses could have been the sole determining factor for a career like Garcia's. But with his ability to control his own narrative in building his following, his setbacks have only strengthened his case. Ryan already was able to demonstrate this through public discourse on other much more personal struggles and the topic of mental health.
Can't breathe. You know, my heart's beating out my chest. Severe anxiety, panic attacks.
There's no doubt that being a top-performing, high-profile champion comes with a lot of pressure. When the stakes are this high, the following this immense, the mental toll is even more pronounced. 2 years ago, these pressures pushed Ryan to temporarily step away from boxing and focus on his own well-being.
I was going through a tough time after I defeated Luke Campbell. The panic attacks and all the things that were, you know, happening in my mind. And I couldn't shake it off, and I didn't really truly understand what was going on. That's when I decided to take a break from boxing. It was the best decision I could have made. To be vulnerable, I felt, was to be stronger.
Ryan isn't alone. Star athletes across the board have been increasingly outspoken about their own mental health, taking to social media to go public with their own struggles.
It's okay sometimes to even sit out the big competitions to focus on yourself because it shows how strong of a competitor and person that you really are.
Ryan opening up publicly about the topic of mental health and its impact on him and his career was widely praised, and he considered it an essential part of his maturation as a fighter.
They told me, you know, I was some guy that didn't care about boxing, and I'm some guy that makes up mental health. Mental health is a time to reflect on yourself and get better for the future. That's not weakness, that's strength, that's courage.
Meanwhile, that too caused his following to grow.
I was going through like my mental health issues. It led me to, you know, the philosophies of Socrates and Plato and Zeno and all these ancient philosophers. You know, what they say makes sense and helps me overcome my anxieties. Most of the time I would overthink about everything. Oh no, like I can't believe I had that thought, or I can't believe I had that feeling. All you have control of is what you really want. So I'm like, wow, okay. So all of those philosophies and all of those things really helped me kind of just unravel the things that I wasn't too sure about in myself and the things that would scare me. I'm hungry, you know, and this isn't just the beginning for me. You know, a lot of people would kick their feet back. I made $30 million, I don't need to do anything. You know what I mean? I've been right back to work. Actually, I've been working harder.
Yeah.
You know, the money's never been like the main thing for me. You take it day by day. You know what the vision is. You know what's in your subconscious. You know where it's at. You take it day by day. You see the day. If you conquer enough days, you'll conquer the year. That's what I say. You win the day, you'll win tomorrow. Or make tomorrow easier to win. So every day I wake up, I know the core things I need to do inside myself. I need to go on a run. I need to, you know, fast till at least 2 to 4 o'clock. That I know I need to do. And then from there I can take on anything.
Do you think that philosophy ultimately helped you take this loss earlier in this year?
It helped me take the loss a lot better. Of course, it still stings. I mean, I'm not, you know, saying that the loss didn't hurt, but I was able to handle it a lot better.
It also feels like it helped you make some pretty key decisions in terms of who your inner circle was going to be.
You know, I had to make a lot of changes in my core team. As you probably know, and a lot of people know, that I was betrayed in my training camp. I definitely just had a clean house. I just had to remove everybody, start a whole different infrastructure of my team. It's been amazing, actually, because now I have a new trainer, Derek.
In the wake of Ryan's loss to Tank Davis, he landed with new trainer Derek James, along with a host of other young fighters in his camp.
I have a whole council of a team, that really are behind this now, the business of Ryan Garcia and building an empire, one day maybe building a promotion company. And maybe that wouldn't have happened if I didn't lose.
Now Ryan's preparing himself for his next bout, one that carries tremendous stakes. To lose twice in a row would be disastrous in this stage of his young career, but to fight a cakewalk opponent will not satisfy the crowd either. And so now, Ryan must carefully weigh his options and engage his fan base directly every step of the way. Because one of the things you've done in the intervening time is you're almost like crowdsourcing your next decision.
I'm gonna involve the fans in all my decisions. But the boxers, what I try to tell them is like, you need to get more involved in your socials. And I feel like I pioneered it. And all I want is boxing to keep thriving.
And what's the playbook now?
Everybody now is hitting my line, asking how to do it. How do we do that again?
Yeah.
How do we make a big event like that again?
I mean, part of what's so interesting is this is a study in the new sports fan. If boxing is to make its way back to the center of the cultural conversation, from which it's been absent for quite some time, you could argue.
For that moment, that fight, it did.
Yeah.
It it became iconic. It became a cultural moment, and that's something I was longing for big time. Because I remember moments like that with Floyd and Oscar and all those mega fights that I wanted to bring it back. I'm the best promoter in this generation. I know how it works right now. A guy on his first pay-per-view makes over $30 million.
Right.
That's unheard of. That doesn't make any sense. That shouldn't happen. But like I said, I know how this generation works. I could look at somebody's social media and their career, and I could tell them who they should fight next.
So how soon do you want to do that?
I don't know. I'm just gonna take, like I said, I was taking it day by day.
Yeah.
But that's the vision overall, and it's only to benefit boxing. It's been a big part of my heart, my career. It's like I want to keep the sport moving forward. I want to give it all that I have. I have so much more to do in boxing, obviously, and I really do believe that there is going to be a resurgence.
You're very focused on whatever the next fight is, but as you say, you've got a cadence, you've got a rhythm to what you do. So what do the next couple years look like?
Huge fights. I want to put on blockbuster fights, pay-per-view fights, take this to Mayweather levels, Oscar De La Hoya levels. That's my goal.
Ryan continues his quest to reshape the future of boxing by leveraging his own popularity to promote fights. That's upending the old model and proving what's possible for a new generation of fighters who, win or lose, might just become the next household names in the ring and beyond.
I fell in love with the sport because I seen the fights that I wanted to see. I seen Cotto and all the Mayweathers, and they always fought each other. And I believe we could bring it back, and because it never truly leaves, because boxing is such a beautiful sport and everybody wants to watch it. But with the help of myself and a couple other fighters, I feel like that will be up for the challenge. I think that we could bring boxing back to the limelight.